What's up, you HCMC army? What's up, you money makers? Welcome back to the channel. We had such a great day with HCMC. We are seeing more and more strength day by day in HCMC. Is this the beginning of the HCMC stock reversal? What's going on with the short volume? Why there is lower short volume with HCMC? What are some of the pointers that I found in my research that potentially suggest that there is a pump? There could be a pump into HCMC stock price. I'm going to share the data with you. This is not just the arrow in the dark, but I have been noticing some of the real good pointers that I want to share with you. HCMC mostly traded between 6 and 7 levels, as you can see right here, but mostly on the 7 levels, as you can see right here. As soon as it goes back to 6, it jumps back up to 7. So there is a massive volume, massive buying volume, because there are not that many short sellers. I'll be able to share. There is a 40% move into the price point that I'm going to also share with you. HCMC was trading at the 5 levels and it went all the way to 7 levels, and you can execute the trades. You can sell at 7. Remember, what happened in the past is it touches 7 and goes back to 6. This time around, it's totally different. It touches 6 and hits back up to 7. What that suggests is there is a ton of buying happening at the 6 levels and shoots back up to 7 because people are also interested in buying at the 7 levels. We'll also talk about what are some of the catalysts in upcoming few days or few weeks that you should be looking for, and that can massively impact the stock price. The stock can hit the 27 level. Remember, it went from 6 to 9 to 27 back in the days, and from 27 level to 35 level, and from 35 we saw all-time high 0.0065. I'm not talking about that price point just yet. I'm talking based on the catalysts, if that works out in favor of HCMC, and I'm super optimistic personally for HCMC in regards to the IPR, in regards to the lawsuit, and we'll talk about all that, why I'm optimistic, and lastly, how you can make money in HCMC, why HCMC is at the lower price, and potentially you can get HCMC stock for free. So let's take an advantage of the lower, narrower price point. People say it's not moving, but you can always take an advantage of the price point because it's a very reliable price point from 6 to 7. We saw back in the days, in last few days. Take a look right here. 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 7. Right here, it started going up to 7. So we saw 5, 7, then we saw 6 and 7, and today once again 6 and 7. Now, one thing you also want to note is volume today was about 1 billion. I want to take a look real quick right here, and we should be able to see 1.02 billion is the volume, which is 61% of the total average volume in 65 days. So the 65-day volume is 1.67 billion, and we are doing right now 1.02 billion. Remember, HCMC stock, I want to say for 5 days, let's take a look right now. The 5 days from 5 to 7, you really want to consider this 5 to 7, and that is the spike of 40%. That means you are only if you do swing trade, if you have done swing trade. There are some of the members on my Patreon group, they do swing trades. I'm not sure that they had a good luck buying on 5, but I know for sure a couple of Patreon members, they bought it at 5 and they were looking to sell as a swing trade. We'll see what happens, but what I'm trying to say is there's this massive potential of 40% swing just in a couple of days. So you can still make a ton of money in HCMC just by flipping 5 and 7. It's a 40% return on the investment. In terms of the short volume, right here is the short volume. I wanted to share with you. The short volume was super low, and I discussed in one of my previous video. 5.56 short volume ratio, 5.9, 5.25, and then we saw the jump. Remember, when we saw 5 to 6 short volume ratio, our volume was 900 million, almost a billion, and then we went back to 754 when we had the short volume ratio of 38.31. We did not really see the price dip because of the short volume. Now, one thing to remember here is the volume. The overall FINRA volume went up 1.17 billion, 3.1 or 3.2 rather. billion right here, and we are seeing 2046, 2746, 2767, and today's volume is 1 billion as well. And our short volume ratio is not jumped, it is not higher than the usual volume. We have seen up to 50 to 60 levels in terms of the short volume ratio. So our short volume ratio is low. That suggests is that short sellers do not really believe that Hcmc will go down. There are multiple reasons why Hcmc may not go down from this price point, because the first one is Philip Morris and Altria banned from importing or selling IQOS tobacco device in the United States. Remember this. Philip Morris is a multi-billion-dollar company. They have invested more than $3 billion in this IQOS product. There are millions of users across the globe, and they are banned right now and they cannot sell. It is not in effect right away, but we will be able to see the shift, and that will only help Hcmc in regards to the revenue, because they will have more and more opportunity. More and more people will be within the United States will be buying more and more Hcmc products, and Philip Morris will not sell their IQOS tobacco device in the United States whenever that time period starts. I believe it's after a couple of months. So there is definitely going to be an impact. Not only that, Philip Morris USA halts the US expansion of heat not burn traditional cigarettes, and that came out on July 29. So what that also means is Philip Morris had an idea that this could be the case, and they did not really want to invest more and more money into the product and into the expansion, into the logistics, into the operations, into the sales team, and into the marketing. So Philip Morris had some idea that could happen. Now, a couple of things that you want to remember, and one of the bigger reasons that I think that Hcmc can spike in terms of the price point, because we continuously saw lower than $1 billion in volume. Now we are seeing above 1 billion volume, about 3.1 billion, and today's volume, there is a little bit of a delay, but today's volume is about 1 billion as I showed you right here. So today's volume is 1.55 billion. This is just updated, and Hcmc is closed at 7 level. There might be some delays because this is once again OTC traded stock, one of our favorite stock. By the way, before I go ahead, I wanted to say if you can click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, that will be super helpful. I do a ton of research I like to share with you, so your help is very much appreciated. So click on that like button, doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe to my channel. If you are feeling extra happy today, join my Patreon. It's $4.99. We have private Discord and we talk a ton about many penny stocks, including Hcmc. Hcmc is one of our favorite stock, and as I just mentioned, there is a 40% massive potential in swing trade, and there are plenty of other sub penny and penny stocks that we talk on our private Discord, and will help support each other. We are a very small group, so we'll warmly welcome you. Make sure you help and support the channel, at least by clicking the like and subscribe button. Going back into the PTAB application and inter partes review, remember Hcmc did not really file the response, and that could be a strategy, because let's take a look here. As shown in the timeline, IPR requires a new trial patent appeal to complete in 12 to 18 months. Now, relatively, this is a new appeal that was filed by Philip Morris, and they were challenging the patent that Hcmc already has. So we're looking into 12 months more or less, or maybe 18 months for the whole thing to settle down and come back to us with the further updates. Maybe they may not go and proceed, and the PTAB authorities may decide to not move forward with the petition or the appeal patent trial that has been filed by Philip Morris. There's at least 6 months front end of proceeding, and we are pretty close to that 6 months, and we'll be able to see what the authorities do. Upon filing the request, the patentee has the right to preliminary response. So this particular part, right, Hcmc decided to not file the response for a couple of reasons, because Philip Morris was talking a ton about the Robinson patent, and Robinson patent is not really designed to for the combustion purpose. But they also mentioned, Robinson patent also mentioned, that if it is not used correctly, there will be some sort of combustion. Whereas the patent from Hcmc is the combustion process itself. Even if it's a partial combustion that might be happening into the Philip Morris product, IQOS, they are infringing the patent. And that's what all Hcmc is talking about when they talk about carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and the oxygen. And it's a complex process. I don't really want to talk too much in technical details because I'm not a certified professional or individual. However, so take this with a grain of salt. I'm not a professional advisor or not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence and research. This is only for the entertainment purposes, only hoping you can make informed financial decision, especially you're investing in Hcmc stock. Now, while having this particular process or response is due, they may simply skip it, and which is what Hcmc decided. Once the preliminary response is submitted, in this case, Hcmc did not submit the response because they do believe, in my opinion, I feel like Hcmc do believe that there is not really much that patent office is going to do because there is Robinson patent and it's totally different. And on the contrary, Philip Morris is challenging the authorities itself that they did not really do the due diligence, they did not really check the prior art, and they issued the patent for Hcmc even though there was already a patent from Robinson, which is not the case because these are two different things. And that makes me super optimistic that once the patent gets, this PTAB application gets rejected, Hcmc will have a ton of more potential to come into the front and talk to Philip Morris for potential settlement, and that could be multi-million-dollar settlement, as we all know. Now, millions of users with $3 billion invested in this particular IQOS devices, there is not much Philip Morris will have to do, but the settlement, that's my hope. And this is what we are talking about right here, that one of the PhD expert talks about, and they have tested, and they said generate CO and CO2 in concentrations in amount that depends upon the oxygen being present, and which is why the IQOS heat stick tobacco products generate CO and CO2, and that is combustion, and combustion is a very, very, very complex process. So this is about the patent. Now, one thing about the lawsuit is there are two different things, remember, and this is a relatively shorter, could be a relatively shorter timeline for this lawsuit, because right now what's happening is Hcmc is waiting for the judge's ruling, or rather both, Philip Morris and Hcmc both are waiting for judge's final decision right now. Philip Morris has filed a motion to dismiss. That means they really want this case not to go on to the trial phase. Hcmc has responded, and here is the whole timeline that I also discussed back in the days. Hcmc had a chance to amend the complaint that they did. Philip Morris responded on August 20th. There is a 14-day deadline. There is not really a response required, but September 3rd was the deadline that Hcmc responded back on September 3rd. We are on October 6th, so about a month and 3 days right now. And after Hcmc response is back, so it's kind of like a little bit of a ping pong game. Once Hcmc has amended complaint, Philip Morris response is back, and then Hcmc has one more chance to respond to whatever Philip Morris mentioned that they did, and they were spot on. Remember two things: there was an Exhibit J, and then there were some of the FDA related articles that they mentioned, or the evidences that they mentioned. They got rid of this Exhibit J that Philip Morris tried putting this back in, that the judge is saying that is not really relevant because they're not looking for that particular Exhibit J, which Philip Morris kind of kept pushing on. And Hcmc did the right thing, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, but what they tried to do is totally got rid of this really stuff that is pretty argument, that could cause really argument type of format, and that's not really super relevant to the lawsuit. Now, if the judge's decision is to reject this motion to dismiss, that means the case will go on trial. So this lawsuit, the entire lawsuit, will move forward, which is going to be millions of dollars for both the parties, opens up the door for HCMC to do the lump sum settlement and maybe ongoing royalty deal in future. So which is where the things are pending, and we're looking at multi-million-dollar settlement if things move forward, and it is eventually going to help out all the shareholders as well as the company Hcmc. Now also remember that Hcmc has more than $27 million that they're sitting on right now from the rights offering. Do not forget that Hcmc had a rights offering at 0.0010. So we are pretty close to that price point. Many of their common shareholders bought this rights, and the rights were only open for their common shareholders. And everything is coming along pretty well, and we are waiting for this to catalyst. Once again, we are waiting for the judge's decision, which is one of the big catalysts in my opinion, and we are going to have some juicy information very soon. Second thing is, I already talked about the inter-partes review. Now one thing that you want to look into in terms of the numbers is how the Hcmc stock is trading. It did not really go below 5, as you see right here. From 5, it was flirting between 5 and 6, 5 and 6, 5 and 6, went to 5 and 7, 5 and 7, and today it was 6 and 7 while the market was down. Now market came back up, and as you can see, Nasdaq was up 68 points, 0.50% more or less, and Dow Jones was 0.30% up after going down all the way right here. So you see the red. What you want to consider is gradually the volume is going back up, gradually the short volume ratio goes down. That is a really positive sign. Look further into the chart right here. The RSI looks pretty healthy to me, 55, not an overbought, not an oversold condition. This is something I love to see. You're seeing a juicy green bar right here, which is I always like to see. That means it's a buying volume and not really selling volume. If you take a look right here, there is not really a ton of selling volume. Yes, there are some spikes here and there, but not really a huge selling volume. It's not short volume, it's mostly the buy volume. And looking at the MACD looking pretty healthy in my opinion. That all suggests that this could be the turning point or the reversal for the price point for Hcmc. I showed you two ways in terms of the price prediction. The price can go from here 7 to 27 levels, which is about 4 times than what we are seeing the current price for Hcmc, given that provided the catalysts are coming in favor for Hcmc, there will be a real spike up that people may buy and go crazy about, because Hcmc is one of the big meme stock along with AMC, GME, CTRM, ZOM, a ton of stock that we talk on this channel, especially starting last year. The second thing you want to consider is the swing trade. Even if Hcmc stays between 5 and 7, there is a 40% opportunity that you can make potential money if you do 2.5 trade precisely. You are doubling up your money. In other words, if you do 5 trades with 5 and 7, buy at 5, sell at 7, it's 40%. If you can do that 5 times, you have 200% return on your investment, which means your price will be 3x at that price point, because 5 times 4, you're looking at almost 200% return on your initial investment. So swing trade is a potential. Another potential is you buy and just wait for the good days and some good news. I'll make sure I'll keep you posted. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.